protect our firefighters, our police, that serve our county. Thank you for all that you had to be with the Ray's family. Be with the Gays, whatever's going on in their lives. Just thank you, love you, Christ's name we pray. Amen. Pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, would you like to call the roll?
Chairman Henry,
Yeah.
Commissioner Winter,
Here.
Commissioner Long,
Here. At this time, are there any items to add or remove from the agenda? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as is?
So moved.
Second. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes? And if so, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the 4/17 meeting?
So moved.
Have a second vote?
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Bobby, you approve?
Yeah,
Bobby.
I was still looking at the minutes.
Do we have any appearances at this time? Sir?
Okay, George Pattersby, District 4. About 7 months ago, before the clinic, the Catoosa County was opening up, I gave my opinion of what a bad idea it was. Well, it's been open for 6 months now, and I have a list of the activity there, and it's a little confusing. Some of it overlaps. So there was annual visit, established patient, follow-up, new patients, vaccine, injury, lab work. So it totals to 616. So I took 57 off for lab work and vaccines, make it around 550. And if you compute that comes to somewhere in the area of $550 to $600 per person per visit, which is disgusting, especially in light of the fact that they can go to a walk-in clinic and $95 is the going fee. And I'm sure Catoosa County can get a better deal than that. So it's a tremendous waste, probably wasting $160 grand a month that you could put into repairing potholes and transporting kids with disabilities, deaf, blind, and so forth. Awful waste of money. Secondly, on the property tax, and I realize this has to probably go on ballot, but the Catoosa County Schools operational charge to all of our tax bills is 72%, which I don't know if that's in order or not. It's 72%. When in Murray County, when you hit 65, that goes away. Whitfield County, 65, it goes away. Dade County, 65, it goes away. Walker County, 70, it goes away. Catoosa County, 75. I guess they figure we live a lot longer in Catoosa County, or we deserve to be paying it a lot longer than everybody else. And I realize you don't control that, but you have a lot to do with how it's controlled. Third thing I have at the moment is the Catoosa County Animal Shelter. I've heard reports of excessive amounts of animals being euthanized. I called there today. The manager, the lady, was more interested in who I was with, what animal activist group I'm with, which I'm not. I'm an animal lover. And she wouldn't give me the amount of animals that were euthanized. She told me I have to refer to open records. And I said, who determines what animals are euthanized? And she referred me to the county attorney. So if we're not doing something right, maybe we need to do it right. The animal shelter is in a beautiful location. I don't know if there's room, it looks like there's room for expansion, but a little concerned. Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak? Okay. At this time, let's skip that. Have a proclamation, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This is a proclamation of the Board of Commissioners of Catoosa County, Georgia, establishing National Day of Prayer in Catoosa County. Whereas the National Day of Prayer has a long history in the United States, as the Continental Congress directed that a day of prayer be observed in 1775 as a time of prayer in forming the new nation. And whereas President John Adams declared May 9, 1798, the Day of Prayer, is a day of solemn humiliation, fasting, and prayer, during which the citizens of all faiths were asked to pray that our country be protected from all dangers which threaten it. And whereas President Harry Truman signed a bill on April 17, 1952, proclaiming National Day of Prayer into law in the United States of America. And whereas President Ronald Reagan in 1988 amended the law by designating the first Tuesday in May of each year, the first Thursday in May of each year as a National Day of Prayer. And whereas the law requires that the President of the United States issue a proclamation each year designating the first Thursday in May as a National Day of Prayer, on which the people of the United States may turn to God in prayer and mediation of churches, groups, and individuals. And whereas a National Day of Prayer is a time for people of all faiths and beliefs to pray together in their own way, where deity's guides in the seven centers of power: government, military, media, business, education, religion, and family. And whereas the National Day of Prayer's mission is to communicate with every individual the need for personal repentance and prayer to intercede for the United States of America. And whereas the National Day of Prayer is not limited to any particular religion, but is universal in its application to all religions practiced in the United States of America. And whereas the Board of Commissioners of Catoosa County, Georgia, the governing authority of Catoosa County, desires to establish a National Day of Prayer as a time when the citizens of Catoosa County, of all faiths and beliefs, may pray for the United States, the great state of Georgia, Catoosa County, our men and women in uniform bravely defended, our law enforcement officers, our firemen, and all those who serve to protect the lives and property of the citizens, that they may be protected from all dangers which threaten. And whereas in this perilous time of terrorist attacks, wars, and national calamities, the United States of America, the great state of Georgia, and Catoosa County observe the National Day of Prayer as a fitting acknowledgement of our nation's religious history and tolerance of all religions and beliefs. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Catoosa County, Georgia, that the citizens of Catoosa County may observe the National Day of Prayer on the first Thursday in May 2018 as a day of prayer and mediation. Be it further resolved and ordained that the citizens of Catoosa County on National Day of Prayer set aside time for prayer and mediation and solemn humiliation, that the United States of America, the great state of Georgia, and Catoosa County may be protected from all dangers which threaten from within and without. Be it further resolved on the National Day of Prayer, the citizens of Catoosa County may give homage, honor, and prayer for the protection of residents of Catoosa County serving in the United States of America as sheriff, deputies, police officers, firemen, and emergency medical professionals, and all who serve to protect our lives and property. Be it further resolved and ordained that a copy of this resolution be spread on the minutes of Catoosa County, and that this written proclamation for publication whereby Catoosa County commemorates the National Day of Prayer in the year of our Lord 2018. So resolved this first day of May 2018, Catoosa County Board of Commissioners by Stephen M. Henry, Chairman, attest, Melissa M. Hanna, Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. This first one is proposed contract for landfill groundwater and surface water monitoring. Services are necessary to manage the groundwater and surface water and reporting for the landfill sites 1 and 2. Geosyntec conducts sampling and reporting on a semi-annual basis. Events are planned for May and November based on the sites. Approved monitoring plan. The lump sum budget required to perform the work is $47,500 for 2018, which is $11,875 per site twice a year. Once completed, the final report will be submitted to Georgia EPD, and 2 copies will be submitted to the county within 60 days of completion. So that's part of it. It's like EPD will come out and all it does.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Do you have any questions? This is testing we have to do to be compliant. If we don't, the EPD could fine us way more than what is to be compliant. Yes, correct.
Mr. Carl, does this money come out of what the generator?
Yes. Money generated.
From the generator. Very good. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next.
This is a resolution to approve the award bid for a purchase of a 15-inch Fairmont brush chipper. Currently, the Public Works Department has a need for a 15-inch Fairmont brush chipper. A brush chipper is utilized throughout the year for tree removal. Public Works recently retired a couple of brush chippers this week that exceeded their life. Requests for proposals were advertised before the first procedure proposals were received. The lowest responsible bidder was Premier Southeast for $62,037. And also for an extended 1-year warranty, it was like $24.49. So I wanted to add that. So the total for the chipper was $64,486.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wood, with the old one we retired, they going for sale.
Yeah, we saw them drug deals, both of them, one was $99, and the drum was cracked. This drum chipper was cracked. And the two safety issue too. 19 drum chippers, they've come a long way to advance safety. The one that this one that we're looking at has a safety bar across the bottom, so if anybody got caught, first thing they did is that bar, it shut down the contact. That's a big part.
It looks like there was one cheaper, but it thought they did the wrong thing.
It was that 13 inch.
Yeah.
It was a disc chipper, and the disc chipper, it slows down the push work. The drum chipper has a lot more torque, and
Seems like it's
it usually goes wrong, but it's all
We have any other questions?
This will be coming out of squash.
Feel like that, the 1-year warranty is well worth that.
Which lost? Which year?
The oldest lost it. When we got the new one, it's
14 squash, Carl.
Twice.
The 14 squash.
Yes.
so we'll be, it's a 2-year, so this will match a 2-year on the machine. It's originally a 1-year on the machine, 2-year on the.
Additional.
It'll be 2 and 3.
3-year on the, right. So this will make it 2 instead of 1.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Dennis, pleasure to have you over here.
Well, glad to be here.
How are you liking the job?
I'm loving it. It's been a great experience so far. I'm happy to be here and proud to say that we're moving forward and we're going in the right direction and solving some of the issues we have. So, Chairman, Commissioners, I come before you tonight to ask for your approval of the extension of a one-year contract with Everbridge. In 2012, the county entered into a contract with Everbridge to provide mass notification. This is a system that we use for our severe weather notification to the community, as well as any other notifications that we need to make. Currently, we have right at 27,000 residents that are on the system, so it's nearly half of our population utilizes this. It's a one-year contract that expires in May 6th. So I asked for an extension of 1 year for this contract at a price of $16,876.
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
About how many members, do you know how many's on there right now?
Right about 27,000. And they, I met with them at the EMEC conference 2 weeks ago in Savannah. And as of today, they're going to upgrade our, free of charge, and then upgrade our service. They sent me a big list of what that means, and I haven't had time to research all of them. But one of the things they are doing for us is they'll make available an app for smartphones.
Oh, really?
And if you have that app, and anybody that has that app that's in the country, that's in our area, that has that app, if we send out a weather bulletin or special notice of some kind, they'll get that notice if they're in the area, regardless of where they're from. As well as if you have the app and you're here, you're traveling anywhere else, and somebody else sends out a notification, you'll get that notification.
Great. Well, that's great.
There are some other enhancements which I haven't delved into, and there's a lot of numbers and fancy words there that I haven't figured out exactly what they'll do, but our service will be increased and it's free of charge for next year.
This day and time, that app is a huge deal.
It is, absolutely,
Maybe our younger people will work with it too.
absolutely.
All you got any answers?
Well, yeah.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Glad everything's going well.
Yes, sir.
Carl? Aye. Hold on a second, Carl, I'm sorry. Dan, do you think we should table this till we've got a little more full board? What is your opinion?
It's up to the board. I don't honestly, until I hear what the budget amendment was, I didn't know. You have a quorum, and it's on the agenda item, but it's certainly
Well, let's listen.
within the prerogative to table it if you like.
Carry on, sir.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, what I prepared is a budget amendment. Budget amendment is required to meet changing governmental expenses needs which have arisen during the current fiscal year. This is the third amendment for the current fiscal year. There are three components of this request. The first one is the increase in salary and payroll related expenses for the general wage increase effective April 2018. The amount is $200,824. The second component is an increase in accounting expenses for salary and payroll related expenses related to providing for an additional person as backup and support for the remaining 4 months of the current fiscal year. The amount is $20,302. The third component is an increase in the magistrate expense for salary and payroll related expenses related to providing for a full-time, non-chief magistrate judge for the 5 months remaining in the current fiscal year for $34,221. Net increase in expenditures, $255,347. provided for from the contingency reserve, now $255,347, leaving approximately $158,000 in the contingency reserve that was provided in the current year budget. Total general fund, no increase. The budget remains at $25,836,888. On the other governmental funds, which includes the 911 and fire and rescue, increase of $45,429 for the increase in salary and benefits in those two departments, bringing the amended budget to $7,519,391. No change to the capital project funds, remains at $12 million. Total enterprise funds increased $1,414 for the increase in the salary and benefits at the landfill, bringing the total to $412,414. Total all funds increased $46,843, bringing the total amended budget $45,768,693.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any other questions? And one of the things I think we're facing is that in the beginning we thought state court was going to take a huge load off of magistrate, is that correct?
That's correct.
We'll see it a year and a half later that their cases have stayed. Unfortunately, crime keeps going up.
Well, there are a lot of
And-
citations in our code department too, in our zoning.
And a lot of
Increase.
Yes, and we have provided for that non-chief magistrate as part-time for 7 months of the current year. And this is to provide for that person full-time for the balance of the current fiscal year, which would be 5 months.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
I'd like to report on the revenue report for the current fiscal year. On the retail sales tax side, cumulative loss receipts for the first 7 months of the fiscal year were favorable to budget, $194,000, or 4.9%, and favorable to the same 7-month period prior year, $249,309, or 6.4%. Loss receipts for the most recent 12 months were favorable, $372,000, or 5.6%. For the current SPLOST cycle, the 2014 SPLOST cycle, we've collected $36,693,784, and this is, by the way, the 45th month of that cycle. It's currently running at 81.5% of budget. SPLOST receipts for the most recent 12 months were favorable, $532,000, or 5.6%. So we're running favorable in both of those for the current year. And I'd like to report on the 6-month financial report for the general fund period ending March 2018. We're currently 50% through the current fiscal year. Revenue before other financing sources and operating transfers out for the 6-month ended March was $13,132,000, of 50.8% of budget. Therefore, it exceeded the budgeted revenue by $213,000, or 1.7%. Revenue was favorable to prior year, $688,000, or 5.5%. Expenditures before other financing uses and operating transfers out for the 6-month period were $11,801,000, or 47.6% of budget. Therefore, less than the budgeted expenditures by $584,000, or 4.7%. Other financing sources and uses, after other financing sources and uses and operating transfers out, revenue exceeded expenditures $1,088,000, favorable to budget $1,088,000, and favorable to prior year $297,000. So for the 6-month period, we're favorable approximately $1.1 million.
Good.
That concludes the revenue report for the period.
Time we don't have any old business or new business. Commissioners, y'all have any comments?
Yeah. Chairman, would say this, this shows, I know there's been talk that we don't have transparency, but this kind of shows that we put our finances out there. I think this county is probably one of the biggest transparency counties around, so just wanted to let them know that we are transparent in Catoosa.
Please remember Ray, his wife did have a wreck, that's why he had to leave. Supposed to be okay, but remember that. Bob, you good? This time we're going into executive session for legal and personnel. Clerk?
Chairman Henry.
Here.
Commissioner Winters.
Here.
Commissioner Long.
Yes.
We are in executive session.
Yeah, they do.
Can't leave you, Bobby. I'm here. I got your back.
This time do I have a motion to come out of executive session?
So move.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have nothing for, for open session, so I have a motion to adjourn.
So move. Second.
All in favor of adjourning, say aye.